Hi guys, this is Katja with Creators Image Studio. Today I'm sharing 3 autumn cards with you, and the tips that I'm going to give you are mostly aimed at showing you how to make lovely cards without you having to craft hours and hours and hours or using large bulks of materials. No, that is not necessary. The cards that I'm going to show you I created with only 1 sheet of double-sided paper. So let me move over a little bit and I'll insert it here. And this is a sheet by 49 and Market, that's the brand. And it's from their Vintage Artistry Wedgewood collection. And the sheet is called Afterflow. It is a lovely, lovely sheet in my opinion. I love the color scheme, I love the imagery, and the way that the graphic style, the graphic art, I love it. And I love that it's double-sided, so that is always very versatile. And sometimes I purchase these separate sheets from collections that I like but don't need the entire collection of, with a simple card in mind. I'm buying 1 sheet and I'm thinking, well, you know, you can always cut your simple double square card and then mat on 3 or even 4 sides and be done with it and use up the entire sheet. But this time I thought I could also do more than 1 card with this 1 sheet. So that saves you on the material side of things. I did use some different techniques, which I will talk to you about. And yeah, let's take a look. And here we have the first card. We see different techniques, 2 kinds of embossing actually. So let's start with the first one. And that is the embossing that you do with an embossing folder. So you see part of the embossing folder's image here. And let me show you the folder. So this is the image that I partly used. So what I did is put my design paper into the folder, or part of it actually, because I didn't want to do it as a whole. So I think, oh, here. So it's this part. See, so here are the leaves. So I just took part of it, put it through the embossing machine with this folder, a beautiful folder by Sheena Douglas. So that's the first kind of embossing. And the second kind of embossing is the one where you melt an embossing powder onto an image. So first you wet the image either with embossing ink or with some other kind of medium, like a distress ink by Tim Holtz. But I do find that embossing ink works better. It's a bit stickier than normal inks, and I used a copper embossing powder here. And this is one by Ranger, and it's the super fine detail kind. They have several metallic embossing powders that are super fine detail, which I needed for this image because it has an actual word here. So it says sweetness, and then it ends up to be a flower. And this is in fact 1 stencil. So I inked through the stencil first and then added some embossing ink and embossed 1 of the flowers. And the stencil I used is this one. And this is by Gabrielle Polacco. She has her own YouTube channel, by the way. So this is a collab actually by The Craft Workshop. So that is the actual company. And they did a collab with Gabrielle Polacco, who is I think a mixed media artist who makes beautiful works of art. I'm a big fan. So when I saw she came out with a stencil, I naturally had to try it and see for myself what she created, and I love it. It does require, I think, an ink brush to ink through these very small openings here. So I think an ink foam wouldn't work as well. So I use a brush, and then you get your images to be actually readable. So I chose Familia, Dreamers, or Dreamer, and Sweetness. And then I added a quote chip by Tim Holtz, Collect Beautiful Moments. I cut that up, so I got 3 and inked it, colored it. And I did that with embossing glaze. That is a translucent embossing powder, so you can still read the text. This was a white chip, and I added several kinds of colors, a mix actually of embossing glaze colors to colorize this. and then added some flowers and bling. So I think it's a very nice design. It's not too difficult to do, but you do need some materials like the stencil, the embossing folder, and the embossing powder. And of course, the quote chips, flowers to decorate, and design paper sheet. And then when I did all that, then I took my piece of design paper and stuck it onto a card. And this is simply a piece of cardstock that I cut to size for this card. So that is the first card. The second card is in a way simpler in the sense that you won't need all of these stencil and other mixed media materials, but you do need a nice sentiment stamp, and I added some stickles here to the paper and again some flowers, so a little bit of decoration, but by far not as much or as technique heavy as the other card. That is because I used a part of the paper that had the main image, in my opinion. So the butterfly is a real eye catcher and doesn't need a lot of extra, in my opinion. So I only needed some stickles and that's it. And this is a box pocket card. So you can see I gave it a spine. So it has a 1/2 inch spine. So I had some room to add a box pocket. So look. So I made this with design paper, so I chose a double-sided design paper sheet, and that offered me the opportunity to create a lovely box pocket like this. I stamped it before I attached it. A cup full of friendship I thought was very suitable for what I plan to do with this card, because I want to put a bag of tea here, a bag of fresh tea, so it will be a bit bulky, hence the box pocket. And then I will add my message into this smaller card here, which is also very simply done. Simple, a piece of double-sided paper, no cardstock whatsoever. So I will write my message here, and I just inked around the edges, added a stamp. The tea is ready, it says here in Dutch, and then added some flowers. So I will tuck that in here with some added advantages. I could, of course, write my message here if I wanted to, but I feel that once you take the tea bag out, then it's not really clear why there is a box pocket, right? So I think if she wants to keep the card, the friend that I'm sending this to, then this is nice, just by way of a memorabilia that she has this card. So actual content for the box pocket. So this is a nicely elegant card. It's more elaborate than other cards, yet still very easily done. Easy to make. And it's all still part of the one sheet of double-sided design paper. So this is the second card. And then the third card is this one. In some ways it's easier still, and yet more elaborate as well in other ways. So this you can take out, so it's a little, well, it's not really a gift is a too large of a word for what's inside here, which I will mention in a moment, but still it has a gift. So here I used that same Gabriella Polacco stencil and took one of the flowers with the sentiment. I chose Familia because this is going to my mom. And this paper still had a little butterfly here, so I wanted it to remain visible. So I added my decorations here, and I went bulky this time. So I chose several flowers, and I wanted to keep with a bit of an autumn theme. So I chose not too bright colors, but just autumn colors. And these were actually very brightly green, and I will insert a picture where you can see what I used and how it looked originally. So you see the one brightly colored green, that is how they all looked. And then I colored 3 of them with the inks that you see in the picture. So I used some distress spray inks, some oxide sprays, and some ink stains, and well, gave them more of a darker, grungier, brown greenish color. And then I added again a little chipboard piece here. This chipboard piece is by Stamperia, by the way. And this is a very simple card, so this is not a double card, so I will write my message here. But of course you could do it like this and cut a double card like this if you want to. But I wanted mine to be this long rectangular shape that all of these modern cards seem to have. I thought, let's try my hand at that. Plus, I also only had, I think, about this piece left of the sheet. So that also helped determine the size of my card. But I could, of course, have cut it like this and then would have a C6 size card. So I created 3 cards, all of them with a lovely autumn theme, with one double-sided sheet of design paper and a bit of cardstock. So it's quite easy to make. It's very relaxing to do this simple yet elegant crafting. Oh, and yeah, the little gift, well, it's not really a gift, like I said. What I did is I went to the local, one of our local perfume stores, and there I found that the Jo Malone perfumes all had these Jo Malone cards, and you could write the particular perfume, and you could write the scent notes that it has. So I wrote them all down for my mom, and then I sprayed it full of that particular perfume that I chose for her, the fragrance. And then I put some tin foil or aluminum foil, actually. I wrapped it. And what I'm hoping is that it will keep fresh the scent. So I'm going to send this to my mom for her to try. My question to her is, do you like this scent? You know, to help her find her perfect perfume, as it were. So I'm curious myself as to if this will work or not. And if so, then this is a way, actually a nice way, to help people try smelling new fragrances. So it's just a little fun way to do it. So I'll put it in the envelope like this. I'm not even sure it will actually stay here, but it's the thought that counts, right? So there you have it. So yeah, these were my 3 cards. The third one is already in its envelope and it will be on its way to my mom very soon. So it's already packed and ready to go. And the other 2 will go to my friends. One of them will receive a little tea bag, like I told you, and I put it like this, so now you can see what that looks like. And that is why you need the box pocket, because tea bags always take up some space. That is to say, if you use fresh tea. If you buy the supermarket tea, it's more finely milled often, and then the bags are flatter, so you won't need as big of a box pocket as this one. But I like to send my friends fresh tea. Quality time, guys, quality. And then, of course, the third card, you saw that as well, and that will go to a dear friend as well. I don't know the occasion yet, but this sentiment, collect beautiful moments, is applicable to many circumstances, so I can think of many reasons to send her a card. One of them being just thinking of her and wanting to send her some love. So yeah, so I do know, I think at least I do know to which friends these cards will go. Mostly when I craft with a specific person in mind. Unless I'm doing Christmas cards, then I'm usually making a bulk of them. And then, although even with those, I have some people that I have specifically in mind with specific Christmas cards, like my mom, like my dear friends, and like some other people that I think of by name. And then the rest gets the rest of the beautiful cards that I create, because all of them will get nice cards, of course. I just plan ahead sometimes. So when I'm in the mood to craft, I'm thinking of you, I'm making you a card, but you won't get it immediately because the right occasion will have to come. Well, so now you know which techniques I used to create these 3 cards. And you know that I didn't use many materials. You are not in need of many materials. And you know a little bit of my process, that whatever it may be, planning ahead or last minute, I am always thinking of you, the one that will receive the card. Know that. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. Press the like and subscribe. This was not a mini album video. I thought a couple of weeks ago that this channel might focus more on the mini album side of things, But since I have no mini album project underway at the moment, I thought I might as well share some cards anyway. I mean, it's fun to do videos as well, and it's fun to share these projects and these tips with you. So let me know in the comments if you find those helpful or useful or even mildly entertaining. Let me know. I love to hear from you. I know that some of you have been watching my videos for years, so thank you for that. If you are still here, hi! Nice to see you, or sort of see you, and thank you. Thank you for staying with me all of these years, and I hope there will be many more to come. Bye bye!